Hi, everybody. I am Brad.
I'm Christa.
From the Big Family Homestead, and we are here. Oh, my gosh. I need a moment. I'm feeling all verklempt. We are here with a channel that I know you guys are going to absolutely love, and that is Living on a Dime. How are you guys today?
Great.
So this is the first time we've done like a five-way deal here now. Right. So we've got Tara, and we have Mom Jill, and we have Mike. How are you guys doing?
No, this is the first time we've all three done an interview together.
Yeah, this is the first.
This is a moment.
Very, very cool. So for those folks who have not seen your channel, I know it seems odd, but there probably are like 3 or 4 people out there. So for those people, describe what your channel's about and who you are and what you do, because I stumbled on it a couple days ago and I'm like, this is cool.
Well, we're famous for how to fold a fitted sheet. Our how to fold a fitted sheet video went viral a couple of years ago, so everyone knows Mom. She walks into the grocery store, into her quilt guild, and you're the fitted sheet lady. So that's what we're famous for. But what we're about is saving money and getting out of debt and doing it yourself. We like to teach people how to do things yourself. I wrote a cookbook, Dining on a Dime cookbook, 18 years ago. Wow. And it's still going strong. We've sold about 350,000 copies, but we focus on cooking homemade meals, how to make homemade gravy, how to make homemade fruit roll-ups, those kinds of things. And then it kind of morphed into how to do other things around the house, how to get organized, and how to fold a fitted sheet, and that kind of thing.
Now, I got to say, your channel has got a variety level that I really appreciate. It's not just crafty things. It's not just cooking things. There's a wide variety of stuff that goes on, but one of the things that I personally focused on a lot was the frugal stuff, because we are a homesteading family, which means by nature, make do. You better figure out a way to get it done. And believe it or not, we have 1 acre of land, but we have a cow, chickens, goats, rabbits, a humongous garden, and an orchard, and 7 kids. So we appreciate your frugal videos. Yes. So tell us a little bit about that, because I vaguely remember a dumpster diving video that I'd like to talk about. So tell on the frugal.
Well, so we kind of how we got frugal was Mom raised 2 teenagers on $500 a month. So my dad left, and then we became ill with chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, my mom and my brother and I, and we had to live on $500 a month. So she raised 2 teenagers on $500 a month. Well, then Mike and I got married, and we paid off $20,000 of debt in 5 years on $22,000 a year income. Well, so you can do it on a low income. And one of the ways we did it was dumpster diving. We love dumpster diving.
See, you know, the image comes to mind, though. I have to qualify this, because some people think dumpster diving equals those people in restaurants that'll go and take other food from other people. No. There are valuable things that people throw away that still are awesome, and I just don't want people getting the wrong impression that you're out looking for roadkill on the side of the street.
No, we're not. Actually, we kind of got started. I'll let Mike tell the story in Idaho.
Yeah, we lived in Idaho, and of course I had grown up in the city, and I couldn't do anything. And we were doing some kind of a project, and we went out to throw some stuff away in these dumpsters in the town, and Tara was crazy about gardening. And I said, wow, there's a bag of perlite in the dumpster, and it's completely unopened. And nice. So we started looking, and we found a lot of other things that were in great shape, and people had just thrown them away. And so we started to kind of make it our Saturday tradition, like garage sailing thing, where we just go and look in there. And
we went on dates dumpster diving.
Well, and we found things like a brand new rocking chair that had been thrown away. We had just had a baby, and there was a brand new rocking chair, and they had thrown it away because it didn't have 2 of the screws in the package.
What?
So we just took it home. I went to the hardware store, paid like 20 cents for the screws.
Used it for 2 babies for 3 years, and we sold it for $40.
Nice.
You made money on that deal.
That is awesome. A sweet deal. Well, what is that your best find ever? What are some of the best finds?
There were other things. Well, at the time
our best find actually recently we moved into a new suburb, and we just built our shed. Our shed would have been worth about $4,500 to $5,000, and we used it with all dumpster dived wood.
Whoa.
Nice.
And they did the basement. They found huge chunks of carpet. Pieces of carpet they were putting in the new houses, and they've got most of that. A lot of that they had down in their basement.
Yeah.
You know, the chunks of carpet that they just pieced and put down there. And looks great.
Hopefully no bodies wrapped inside them, you know. That's pretty bad.
They even talked to the guys, and the guys would load the pickup for tar. She'd go by in the afternoon when they were getting ready to quit, and they would load the stuff they were going to get rid of right into her pickup.
So we just did. We have a quarter acre. We moved from 2 acres to a quarter acre. Yeah, not good. But we had to put in a new yard, and we did our entire backyard, $2,500 worth of sod from dumpster dive sod.
Sod?
Yeah.
Why would they who throws away sod?
It was just scraps they had left over, so Tara would pull the pickup up at the end of the day. They'd load the scraps in there, and she'd drive it home, or Michael would take it.
Yeah, we were pulling wood out of the dumpster, and I said, "Dear, there's a bunch of sod in here." And we pulled it out, and it was scraps. But we noticed that guys would just, whatever was left, they would just throw it away. So we went over there, and we said, "Hey, if we bring our pickup and we just set it here where you're working, could you guys toss it there?"
Well, and so you're like playing Tetris out in the yard, trying to fit all
We
the
did.
pieces.
Oh, well, one thing we got at my house one time, they were building a huge brick building, government building across the street, and they had leftover bricks, brand new bricks
Cinder blocks.
cinder blocks
Ooh.
on pallets. And it got to be, they had like, 2 or 3 pallets left. And I would go over every day with the wagon or the car and load it up and bring this new bricks over to save for them. And at the end, they had like 3 huge pallets. And they said, you can have it. But we had no way of getting the pallet stuff over because it was so heavy. So we all lined up in the family, our cars. We'd load the trucks up and drive them over. And
Just drive
unload
across
them.
the street.
Nice.
So we got tons
And we
of
put in,
cinder
yeah.
blocks and bricks.
We
Huge
put in a
amounts.
huge garden with all these free cinder blocks
That's
from
what
the
ours is too.
That's what ours is.
So
Yeah.
now, it sounds like you guys are light years above frugality in terms of where we're at. We're
Oh, yeah.
always trying to figure a way to pinch a penny. But are you aware of a service called Chip Drop?
I just saw your video. Yes.
Free mulch.
Yes, actually, so
Mulch.
I was going to tell you. So I've been doing Back to Eden gardening before it was Back
Okay.
to Eden gardening. And I used to, when I was single, I lived out in the country. And one day, on the way to the dump, the wood
That's
chipper
just normal. I was just going to the dump, single girl. Out running to the dump.
My road,
That's where you pick up all the hottest guys.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, wait, what?
well, what's funny was my road was on the way to the dump, so all these trucks would go by and stuff. So one day I flagged down one of the chip guys, and I got 5 chipper loads. And I mean, we're talking huge dump truck loads.
We're talking a mound and
Yeah.
a mound.
Huge. And I had 2 acres, and I did my whole garden, my yard, everything. I even made my driveway out of wood chips. And what you do, here's what you do. It's a tip.
Well,
Here's
because
a
it was
tip.
all muddy and stuff.
If you have a muddy driveway, if you put the chips down, it sinks into the mud, and it makes kind of this concrete type of stuff.
We need
And
this for back there.
Yeah, it works really good.
So
So
you
awesome.
covered your 2 acres and 3 foot of wood chips. That's
I did. I lived out in the country, and there was weed there, and I had lots.
Nice.
that is too
That's
funny.
great.
So now I got to ask because you guys just seem like a lot of fun, and I guarantee you that if we lived nearby, we'd be fun.
Oh, yeah, we totally hang out.
How'd you guys meet? I'm guessing it wasn't like, hey, you over there rooting through the trash at the dump.
Actually, Tara worked in a fudge shop in Estes Park, Colorado, and I was going up there.
His sister worked there too.
My sister worked there too, and she was leaving town, theoretically never to come back. And this was the last day of work for her, so I went up there, and of course she was too busy to talk to me at that moment, but this one wasn't.
Yeah, so I talked to him for like 2 hours at the fudge shop, and that's how we met.
And then we went. We had a date the next day. We went to the national park for the entire day, late into the night.
Yeah.
The Rocky Mountain National Park. which is
Awesome.
Well, yeah, that's not a bad backdrop for a date. Yeah, he brought along a violin player.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So 20 years and 5 kids later, we're still, trying not to kill each other.
Yeah.
so now here's the thing. Going back to frugal land for just a few more minutes. Now, what are the habits? Because I'm assuming that it has to be habits that you develop so that you can train your brain. Don't grab that thing on the counter, or do this thing, or this habit. What are those habits that you have to kind of develop so that you think frugally instead of reacting with your wallet?
One little one I did just this past week. I was making my lunch, and I'd gotten a couple of things out of the refrigerator. And I turned around, and I was going to put the one item back in the refrigerator, and the other item was still sitting there. And I paused because I thought, no, I went ahead and used the second item, and then I turned around and put them both back in the refrigerator instead of opening the door 2 different times, even wasting my energy walking back and forth. It saved time, energy, and it saved energy opening the refrigerator. And that's just a little tiny thing that I do on a regular basis, that I've trained myself, just catch myself before I do something. When I brush my teeth, I never turn the water on. I just put the toothpaste on, brush my teeth, then turn the water on. You just get in the habit of doing those things all the time.
And, it's things like we don't buy our kids toys every time they go to the grocery store. I didn't even realize people did this until we moved into suburbia. And all these people, they're like, oh, yeah, so-and-so got a new toy. I'm like, well, is it their birthday? Well, no, we just went to the grocery store. What? You bought your kid a $25 toy for going to the grocery store? We don't do that. We buy everything. We buy as much stuff as we can used first. Always try to buy used first. And then we'll go and buy new. But we have never bought a new car, ever. Never, ever. We are completely debt-free except for about a third left on our house.
I am debt-free. I'm totally
Mom's
debt-free.
completely debt-free. She lives on $600 a month.
Wow.
It's just a matter of deciding if you're going to do it or not. And that's the biggest thing is people just don't want to do it.
But also, I'm sorry, Michael.
I was just going to say, as the one who was the bigger spender at the beginning, I found that I've sort of, it wasn't my intent at the beginning, but sort of trained myself when I see something and I really want it to think, am I really gonna want that as much as I want it right now? And a lot of times what I would do is just say, well, I'll wait and buy it tomorrow. And I would just keep tomorrowing it down until I realized I really don't this is an awesome thing, but I really don't need it.
Well, I found what you really need to do is start with the kids. In other words, we don't go out to fast foods very often, but when we do, we just get water. The kids, that's a normal part of their life. It's just a habit. They don't think about it. You just do it that way. We're getting ready to have a birthday party. Our kids, grandkids, don't expect to have this big blowout, They're excited just to get their favorite meal or, a treat for the day. That's a habit. That's like a normal thought pattern for them,
Like I make their birthday cakes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize last year that on the last day, we have June babies. We have 2 kids. One's birthday's today and another's in 2 days. And I didn't realize last year at the end of the year that they were going to celebrate his birthday. And I hadn't made anything. And on the way to school, he said, Mom, we're celebrating my birthday today. And I'm like, what?
Thanks, kid. Thanks.
So I went to the grocery store to pick up cupcakes. They almost had to call 911. $20 for 12 cupcakes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Crazy.
Do you guys happen to I need to come down off that ledge.
Yes.
Do you guys like carrot cake?
Oh, I love it, yeah.
Oh, we have a recipe for you. Oh,
We'll send it.
it's made me the man I am today, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. We made a video on that one for a year.
So, Mike,
Yes.
I'm getting the impression that you weren't always this frugal, say, pre-Terra.
Well, I didn't know anything about my parents' income or financial situation growing up. They just didn't share that with us. And when I went to college, I was standing in a line somewhere, and they said, "Hey, you want a credit card? You deserve to do something nice." And I was thinking, I do deserve that.
I do. He's right.
No.
He's right.
So I got a credit card, and I pretty quickly charged it all the way to the top. And I was a little scared. That was only $1,200, but still, I was a little scared. And I did have a job, But I got another credit card, and I almost charged it to the top pretty quickly too. And it's funny because I ended up buying a Nintendo with the last little bit of the credit was on there. And I got home and I started feeling a little guilty about it and overwhelmed. And I went back and they said, "Why aren't you returning this?" Because it was the same day. I said, "I just realized I can't afford it."
Awesome.
So we got married, and I still had other things I was charging on the card. And Tara said, "We're married. We're a team now. You can't be spending money on going to movies and film developing all the time until we get this straightened out." And I agreed, and I understood that it was a problem, but it wasn't easy. And I do know at that time we sort of arranged things like if you wanted something special, we would just give Christmas money to each other, and then I would save that. And of course, the thing I noticed with saving that Christmas money is I would save and save and save to buy something, some electronic device, and then I would go buy it, and then 2 days later I would think, "Okay, I don't really like this anymore. What's the next thing?" And I realized it took long enough to save that I started asking myself before I bought it, am I really going to want this once I have it?
But Michael,
So that was the big change
yeah,
for me.
he really didn't have a clue when they first got married. He really didn't know anything about being frugal. Here's Tara and I, just the ultimate. But I have to give him credit because he did not balk about it, really. I mean, he was kind of uncomfortable, not sure, but he was willing to learn. And I think that's what helped him the most, that he was more than willing to say, okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And, you have to be willing to change your attitude. You have to be willing to accept to do this. And Michael did that,
And willing to learn.
And willing to learn and do it.
Well,
He
I
was willing
think,
to do it.
like a lot of other people, I knew it was a problem. I just didn't want to let go of those things. But eventually I realized those things weren't doing anything for me anyway. I wasn't really enjoying them.
And now, because of that, to put it in perspective, we have no debt except a little bit left on our house. Well, about, some left on our house. But we live in a very nice neighborhood, one of the most expensive neighborhoods not expensive, but in our area, coming up neighborhoods. And we have a really nice house. We have 6 cars because we have 5 drivers and 1 extra in case something dies. But I am a stay-at-home mom. Everybody else around us has to work 2 jobs.
And they're also, not only are they working 2 jobs, they're living on their credit and getting money from their parents.
Yes.
A significant amount of money from their parents.
They're stressed out. They're fighting. They're arguing. They're getting divorced. And because we've chosen not to get into this debt, it has really helped our marriage. I mean, people don't realize how much stress that puts on you.
Amen.
Yeah.
Now, quick thing for the viewers out there. This is what I want you to do. You know the drill, guys. This is what has to happen right now. We've chatted for a while. You see the value you're going to get from Living on a Dime channel. You've got to go over there. Just hit pause on this video right now. Open a new tab. Go over to Living on a Dime. Click subscribe. Come back. And then thank me, because you will thank me. So do the subscribe thing. Come on back. Now, as we're rounding out the interview for today, tips for beginners. How would you encourage people to start? What would the baby steps be?
Baby steps would be to just do something. I don't care.
If you just do one thing, you'll be saving
I don't
money.
care what it is. If it's stopping at that garage sale on the way from the grocery store or picking up the kids, just look. I have neighbors that would never have garage sold, and after they've seen the things that I've come home with, they're like, "You got that at a garage sale for $1?" Yes, I did. And that's how we have a really nice lifestyle for cheap. And so just start with that one thing. So just start with either stopping at one garage sale or buying,
if you're going out to eat 4 times a week, cut back to going just 3 times a week.
Or don't get the drinks.
Yeah,
Don't
or get the drinks.
and take
Do
home
baby
the leftovers.
steps.
Yep.
Do baby steps like that. And you'll find, well, maybe we can only go out two times a week the next month. And you'll keep working yourself down until you think, well, why are we bothering to go out,
And find a simple meal. We've got at livingonadime.com, we have 10 crock pot dinners for under $5. Go pick one of those. They're super simple. They're things like throw chicken in the crock pot with some Italian dressing, or throw chicken in there with some barbecue sauce and make up some rice and just cut up some carrots and cucumbers. Literally, I'm chronically ill. I cannot spend an hour cooking dinner every night. I spend like 15 minutes cooking dinner. That's why our cookbook is so popular, because it's simple food, but it's really easy and really cheap too. So, yeah, just pick the one thing.
Pick one thing that you spend a lot of money on and just start backing down on it. Don't spend as much each time.
Well, folks, I think it's very clear that this Living on a Dime channel has a lot to offer. Definitely go over there, check it out, and subscribe. And well, thank you guys. I mean, every little bit helps. We're a big family trying to do the same thing, and it doesn't seem like society's doing us any favors financially lately. So every tip counts.
Yeah.
So I'm Brad.
I'm Christa.
And you guys are living on a dime. Last word, guys, then we're going to say goodbye.
Just come over and say hi, and we really appreciate you guys. We love your stuff. Thank
All right.
you.
Well, you guys have an amazing day.
You
Thanks,
too.
you too.
Thanks.
Bye.